The Spanish-American War: How America Accidentally Built an Empire. Welcome to Legends Untold. February 15, 1898. A calm Havana night explodes as the USS Maine rips apart, hurling 266 sailors sky high. One bang, and the US is shoved into a war nobody meant to start, yet 114 days later Uncle Sam is holding Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines like poker chips he never meant to collect. Section 1. The problem: Cuba had been on fire since 1895. Sugar fields, worth $50 million and $100 million a year in trade, were blackened as rebels tried to ditch 3 centuries of Spanish rule. Madrid answered with General Butcher Weyler, who herded country folk into fortified towns. Hunger and disease did the rest. Back home, Pulitzer and Hearst dueled for readers with sketches of starved kids and brave rebels. Headlines shrieked, "Spain must quit." Congress talked human rights and tariff perks. The Navy quietly swapped sailing ships for steel. Then the Maine blew. No evidence pointed to Madrid, but "Remember the Maine, to hell with Spain" was catchy and loud enough to drown out every doubter. Section 2. The splendid little war. President McKinley asked for force, not territory, and the Teller Amendment swore Cuba would stay Cuban. Simple, right? First shots, though, rang out halfway around the world. On May Day 98, Commodore George Dewey glided into Manila Bay at dawn and, by lunchtime, had sunk Spain's entire Pacific fleet, without losing one Yankee sailor. Headlines screamed miracle. The Navy chalked it up to good aim. Suddenly everyone knew where the Philippines were. In the Caribbean things were messier. A grabbag army of volunteers, Teddy Roosevelt and his cowboy Rough Riders included, splashed onto Cuban beaches. On July 1 they scrambled up Kettle and San Juan hills beside the seasoned Buffalo Soldiers of the 10th Cavalry. It was chaotic, it worked. 2 days later US guns obliterated the fleeing Spanish squadron off Santiago. Spain caved. 4 months, 379 American battle deaths, fewer than many Civil War companies lost in a single afternoon. Secretary of State John Hay summed it up in a letter: "It has been a splendid little war." Section 3. The imperial consequence. In Paris that winter, US envoys showed up expecting to haggle over Cuba. They left owning Puerto Rico, Guam, and, for $20 million, the entire Philippine archipelago. Overnight the Republic had an empire stretching from the Caribbean to the edge of China. True to the Teller Amendment, Cuba got its flag, but Washington stapled on the Platt Amendment, letting the Marines waltz back in whenever things looked shaky. Filipinos, who'd already declared their own republic, simply swapped Madrid for Washington. Guerrilla war raged 3 more years and killed more US troops than the splendid one had. Back home, senators howled. How could a nation born on self-rule chain millions of unwilling subjects? Mark Twain called the Stars and Stripes a rag dipped in the blood of conquest. The debate raged, the treaty passed, the flag rose over new ports. The Navy, now second only to Britain's, boasted coaling stations across 2 oceans, and American businessmen licked their chops over Asian markets. Accidental? Maybe. Irreversible? Absolutely. Subscribe and share for the next episode. One blast in Havana, 114 days of fighting, and the map got a fresh coat of red, white, and blue. Spain's 4th-century American empire vanished. Uncle Sam's Global One began. A rescue mission for Cuba morphed into a land grab that still fuels debates about bases, interventions, and what freedom actually means. If this rewired your view of 1898, smash like and share it with the history nerd who keeps quoting Hamilton lyrics. Comment below, total accident or clever design? Subscribe for more short, sharp history, no homework, no jargon, just the good stuff. And, yeah, remember the Maine. Because it sure remembered us.